All right, so welcome everybody to the Positive Payments and VHA webinar, Positive Payments Demonstration. This 25-minute demo is designed specifically for veterinary practices to see how this is an all-in-one payment platform that simplifies transactions, saves time, and enhances the client experience. So today, our wonderful panelists, John and Susie, will be walking us through the single sign-on platform and real-time dashboard, the client database setup and management, payment options such as card present, card on file, email, and text to pay, which is very handy, and the end of the day reporting, voiding transactions, and processing refunds. So John, Susie, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Sounds good.
Great.
Thanks, Liz. So I'll kick it off, Susie. So I'm John Hall. I'm co-founder of Positive Payments with Susie. We put this platform together today that we're going to be showing you. Really, as Liz said, is a single sign-on payment experience for practices with features that are really tailored to how our practice runs. Personally, I've spent over a decade in the veterinary space, working specifically in veterinary software, and have seen really good tech and really bad tech. And so Susie and I partnered up to bring features to practices like VHA members to really make life a little bit easier. So excited to show you this today. And Susie, I'll give you a second to introduce yourself.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Nice to meet everyone. My name is Susie Bookout, co-founder also of Positive Payments. My background is really on the merchant processing side. I spent well over 25 years in payment processing, both on the merchant side and also in the software side, having worked for JP Morgan Chase, Intuit, and many of the larger payment providers in the marketplace. I actually had passion in the animal healthcare space and also have great passion towards philanthropy. As many of you may be aware, we take an active role in Not One More Vet. So super excited to partner up with VHA and bring you the demonstration today, and really as a support tool for all of you here on the call. And I'll hand it off to you, John.
All right. So this is
Real quick,
really, go ahead,
sorry, John.
Liz.
Just wanted to let everybody know, any questions can be asked in the webinar chat or the Q&A function down below, and there will be a brief time after the demonstration to ask questions directly. So we'll be fielding a Q&A. All right.
Yeah, please do.
Sorry, John, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So what I was saying is this is part two. We had a webinar fairly recently with VHA. We're really focused on pricing and just talking about different pricing structures that we typically see in veterinary practices. And we talked about one of our areas of expertise, which is cash discount programs to help offset the cost of your merchant fees. So today is really more of a product session. It's a payment specific platform, so it's not incredibly long to demo. It's fairly intuitive and easy to pick up. But I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll walk through it and hopefully generate some questions along the way. All right, can I get Susie? Can you let me know if you're seeing my screen? All right, cool. All right, so in the morning, users come in, whoever's going to be accepting payments in the practice, they will log in, and this is the dashboard that they'll see. This is browser based and will run beside your practice management system. This is laid out in a way that your most recent transactions, will be front and center. And to start taking a payment for the day, you're going to utilize these three purple buttons across the top. So typically most practices, the majority of volume is going to be in a card present transaction. So that's, you have a terminal, you're going to, swipe, tap, dip a card to take your payment. So I'll show you that first. So you'll click manual payment. You will search the customer. So on the database comment Liz made earlier, part of setting up with us is we do ask for you to send over an Excel or CSV file with your customer information so that we can load the system on our side. We do this complimentary, but it makes workflows a lot better than entering everybody's guess. So in this situation, I will just use an existing customer. This will be a card present transaction. And I can either skip over the description fields and the reference ID if that's not important to my practice, enter in the amount that we're going to charge. And you'll see this has a 3% cash discount automatically added to the transaction. So if that's a pricing structure that you want to work with in your practice, it's pre-configured that way. And then you'll select the terminal, and this is entirely customizable. If you have, a few exam rooms where you take, payments in, and you want to be able to know what terminal you're sending that payment request to. So it could be Dr. Bookout's room, and you click that, and it'll light that terminal up. Once a you'll click this, that completes that request to the terminal. Once the transaction is approved, it will show paid on your dashboard. All of these buttons have very similar functionality in terms of look and feel. So the other common manual payment you're going to see or you're going to take into practice is card over the phone. And for that, you'll just select card. If we use that same client, Tim has a card on file. So we can use the card that we've already saved to our system. This is super handy if you have clients that habitually like to pay over the phone. Maybe it's for prescriptions. So you can get that card information on file. You can also put their checking account on file if you want to do a direct debit through ACH, and that'll keep your fees even lower. So all that functionality is built into the system, and I can show you where to set that up. Same workflow as before. You can provide descriptions. This is pretty handy, if you're going to be doing a card payment that's not right there in person. You'll enter your amount in, and again, it's going to go right back to your dashboard and show paid once it's gone through. The other kind of aspect of the product is going to be around digital payments, and we really differentiate these between payment links, which would be something you would embed in an email typically to send out along with an invoice to collect payment. The other digital payment that we do quite a bit of is text pay, and this is a true text payment functionality. And what you'll see with a lot of other companies out there is they say, yes, we offer text pay, but they're really just offering a digital payment link that gets embedded into a text message. The user experience is going to be to click the link, and it's going to open a browser where they'll enter their information in a portal. With our system, once your information is captured within our text payment provider, they can respond in thread to make that payment and never leave the system, and it works really, really well. We're excited to bring this up to market. So I'm going to show that aspect first. You click text payment, and I'll use Susie, and she could probably do show and tell on the other side. You could say, dental. Yeah. And so I'm going to send Susie a request here, and within this, we can also add a waiver. This is a customizable field. It's not, I wouldn't say it's ready to replace all of your forms, but if you have simple forms such as, here's our payment policies, or here's our no-show policy, you can add that here. You can also do pre-surgical instructions, which I think is really a handy feature. And when you hit submit, that's going to generate a request to the user. Oh, sorry about that. We've got a hang up here. What's going on? Mind you all, this is a demo environment, not a live environment. So when this kicks out, it'll send a text message across that will hit Susie's phone. It'll say, thank you for coming into our veterinary clinic today. We have, here's some instructions for your visit tomorrow, and we would like to have a deposit on the appointment. They will sign off on that on their phone. They can use their finger. It's like a DocuSign. Once they've done that, it'll prompt the payment to be approved. Once they submit it, it'll come back on our side, and they'll receive, the funds back on the dashboard. The same workflow on the digital payment links. If you want to do that all through email, you can do the same, same process here. You can select whether you want to link for credit or debit card, which is a card payment, or if you want to run off an ACH debit, which is so they can enter their routing in a checking account information. But you can put it in here, $50, and then it'll generate a link. And this link you can either email directly out of the software, or you can copy it and paste it into an email that you're generating from a different system. At the end of the day, as your payments start to accumulate throughout the day and you have to close out, you're going to go to reports, and you can go to transaction report, and this is going to allow you to have a quick filters, or you can put in customer filters. So we recommend running this out daily to ensure systems reconcile well and there's no errors, between the two of them. But this is very easy. And once you click whatever time frame you want, it'll generate a report here. You can also export that into Excel if you need it that way. This is also the same place that you're going to go if you need to search or research any transaction. So if you have a customer call in and say, hey, you mischarged me, you can come and see that here. And any of these little buttons here, this is where you can initiate refund. You can produce a receipt to send to the customer. And it's also where you would void a transaction if it was on the same day. Some of the settings aspects of this are going to be, around your user management. So you can define user roles and permissions. So if you want to have a practice manager with full admin access versus a CSR who maybe doesn't have to have full access to reporting, you can set that there. You can set your color profiles. You can also go in and set up your custom forms. And that is, it just makes the system a lot easier to manage and ensures everybody understands, what's going where and who's set up to do what. So I'll pause there. As I said, this is a pretty straightforward payments module for your practice, so it's not a huge product to demo, but are there any questions?
We don't have any questions so far. Everybody can use the chat function or Q&A function down below, but otherwise I think we're good to keep going.
Okay. One thing I'll just jump into and then we can talk about what it takes to get started here. So I talked about the signature request that we can send through text message. If you go into settings and signature settings, this is where you can set these up. You can add as many as you want. You can activate and deactivate as you go if you want to change any aspects of this. And if anyone has questions on how to set up, or either your salesperson or somebody from our team will directly help you with these. But this is a really nice way to, if you're thinking about your workflows today, I'll challenge you to say, hey, what's an area that we could do better? Maybe it creates just a little bit of friction in the process. Maybe it creates uncomfortable situations. I think euthanasia is a really interesting one for TextPay because I have not met a practice that does it really well yet. Everybody I think tries, but it's a difficult appointment, and there's a lot of paperwork involved. There's always a payment element of it, and there's a lot of emotions. And I think even though you're all pros and you do this all the time, it still wears on you. And I think setting up your payment workflows in a way that just removes little tiny bits of pressure throughout the day have a cumulative effect. And that's some of the things that we're trying to achieve here.
Hey, John,
I'll stop. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we got a couple questions in the chat. I don't know if you want to take a look at those, but I can address the first. Yeah,
go ahead.
as far as the first one, we support various different programs. One is we provide a free cost evaluation for all VHA members, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison. I know how difficult some of these statements are to understand. It's our job to kind of pull that apart for you. And now is actually a really great time, as traditionally the payment processors raise rates in October and April. So now the timing is really great. If you want to have a free cost evaluation, we can do that. But we've got a couple options by way of pricing. And one is we have our flat rate that we have at 2.5%, and that's essentially for all transactions, with a transaction fee of 30 cents, I believe. And then we also have our zero cost processing at 3%, and that's where we pass along that fee onto the actual pet parent or card holder, if you may. And we ensure that all of the zero cost processing that we offer is compliant through Visa and MasterCard. And we provide you signage or whatever that you need. We also provide training, to your staff members on how to position that in the marketplace. So yes, we ensure that we give you all your signage, etc., that's needed for the practice for compliant surcharging or cash discount programs, if you may. So, and John, I don't know if you like to take the second one, is how do you integrate
take
into
that. Yeah. So the short answer is we don't right now. And right now the practice management software space is really evolving. And so we've had a lot of discussions with different integrator kind of third-party data companies that, we can do lots of things, but as a small company, we're trying to prioritize, where the investments make the most sense. And, with lots of practices making changes in that area right now, we're kind of holding back to uh, see where, it makes the most sense, for our clients. So it's an active discussion on our product roadmap. But right now we feel like we've designed something that's pretty straightforward in terms of reconciliation. And, having worked a lot, I spent, a decade working in integrated payments, within, major brands like Cornerstone and EasyBet. Those systems, when done extremely well, are great, but a lot of times, the ones relying on third-party integrations will be a little bit, they'll be a little bit slower on the transaction. We can have a much snappier experience, running standalone right now. And we just put a lot of effort into making sure reporting was pretty simple at the end of the day. I hope that helps. Yes, we will send readers going through the computer. No, we can run both. So excuse me, we have really nice mobile readers that they're handheld. You can put them in exam rooms, you can walk around with them. They're Wi-Fi, which is super important. I've experienced putting Bluetooth readers in practices. It does not work well because of the way the building's constructed. So yes, we have Valotech terminals, and they're really robust. They put up with the environment of a veterinary practice really well, and we can work with you on how many you need.
All right. I think we're good to keep going now. Oh, we do have a question in the Q&A. Oh, it's the same question as the one in chat. How does it integrate with PMS? So
Yeah. And I was going to mention too, as far by way of customer support, that's something that we really take great pride in. We're an independently owned company, and we're not owned by some big conglomerate. So we really take pride in our customer support. You get an actual live person that will hand walk you through the actual installation, how to send a text message, how to train your staff. How do you message? And sometimes, just learning how to message the zero cost processing. And there are ways to mitigate that as well. I don't know if you want to touch base on that real quickly, John. So if you have someone on zero cost processing within the solution, there are some options that we have. Let's say it's a larger ticket amount and you don't want to impose that fee. Do you want to kind of chat to that a little bit?
Yeah, no problem. So there's two ways we recommend doing this. You can either credit it on the PIM side, right? So you can create an invoice credit so that you effectively absorb that fee on your own. So, if you go back and we just run a payment for a card present, and we'll run this one as a guest to be quick. So when I put in, say it's a $3,500 invoice, there's a $205 processing fee at 3%. And mind you, that's essentially what you're paying as a practice owner today. So we can quickly identify how much the fee is going to be. You can credit that amount directly on the invoice on the practice management side. That's one workaround. The other option you have is you can do it directly in here. So if you go into your settings and payment settings, this is where we control our fees. So you can zero this out, and if you run this out at zero, I'll show you. So now if we go back and run that same payment, and I think it was 3,500. You can see that there's nothing being tagged on in the software. So the way that works in the back end is, essentially what's happening is as we collect funds for processing, it's going to offset the fees on the bank side, right? So with the processing company. So when you get your invoice, you'll see the net difference. So if you absorb a couple of those, say you had 100,000 in deposits, but you covered, maybe it was $500 worth of fees, your deposit would then be 99.5. So there's two ways to do it. Both are fairly straightforward. and they don't happen that often. I mean, obviously you all know your practice is much better than I do, but that's not a typical transaction in practice. And if you had to take, even a handful of those every month, you're still sitting in a really positive position from a revenue standpoint, with the amount of costs that you were paying before that. Does that help, Susie?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't know if
Well, yeah,
no,
say,
I
Susie, do
was
you want to
just,
talk about kind of how
yeah.
we've invested a lot into making this super easy to get started. Some of the technology that we're really proud of is kind of geeky and behind the scenes, but having spent so much time, working with vets, I understand how busy you all are. And a lot of times getting started is like, if it's really difficult, doesn't matter how good it is, it makes it really hard for people to sign up. So, Susie's been wonderful in finding, you know, technology partners that can enable a really smooth and quick setup. So I'll let her talk about that.
I think how quickly. Oh, you can use it right away. So I'll talk a little bit about the actual VHA offer that we actually put together. So as I mentioned, we have pre-negotiated rates. We essentially we look at each opportunity very uniquely. So we'll make our recommendation to you whether if you want to go through with the zero cost processing, we can do that. We also do customized processing as well. So what we can do, we usually come back with two different, in our proposals, they're very professionally done. We come up with two options for you. So you can decide what's best for your practice. We also give away a free terminal, and depending upon how large or small your practice is, we can make some concessions on more than one terminal. It just really depends upon the volume and all that. So we want to kind of put that out in the out on the table. We'll definitely look at each opportunity independently. We are offering a $250 FIGS Scrubs gift certificate for anyone that signs up. So we know how comfortable those are, and really trying to offer out a really cool incentive. And our agreements are month to month. There is no contract. You're not tied in for 3 years or have any kind of cancellation policy. And we really do a lot to help support you. One of the main concerns is just being sure you're compliant, protecting your information. We work with technology partners that are super PCI compliant, from a compliancy perspective. And so we're really look to put together an attractive offer for you. The only thing that we ask is if you reach out to John or myself or VHA and forward us a statement. What we're doing as a special for attending is now that you saw the demonstration, and if you want us to analyze your statement, we'll fast track that statement for you, the analysis, and we're also offering out a $50 Amazon gift card or a donation on your behalf to a $50 donation to NAMV, which we're super, super passionate about. And I don't know if there's any questions about just the process or how to go about that, but we really do a thorough job. And I think since John and I have launched our solution, we are really amazed. And sometimes I'm even saddened to see what vet practices are being charged, from some of their providers. So we try to really help educate. We're here as an educational resource. You're not obligated in any way, but really how, what we can do to help support you in, saving money for your practice so you can reinvest it somewhere else. And we know how tight, some of these practices are running, but it's our job to help kind of uncover that for you. So I hope I answered that question, but we have a really super quick turnaround time. We try to get our proposals done within, 24 hours, and depending upon your schedule, we'll spend time to individually work with each practice very uniquely and differently.
I'm sure any practice would appreciate that one-on-one time and just kind of going over it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
And I think there'll probably, there'll probably be a follow-up email, but with our contact information. You know, John and I are here as a resource for you if you want to revisit the demo and really talk about what you're doing today, you know, with your current PIMs, or if it's a standalone terminal or how you're doing business today. We will really sit with you and kind of take a look at that and see what we can do to help improve. And then essentially, hopefully there'll be some really nice cost savings for you guys there. And a new partner.
Awesome. And you are right. There will be a follow-up email later on that'll have John and Susie's contact information in it. So you can reach out to them directly, ask any questions, and start the partner process with Positive Payments.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone,
Liz.
for your time.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
All right. Thanks
Appreciate it.
everybody for joining. This was recorded, so if you missed something and you want to jump back to it, it'll be on the VHA YouTube channel later on, and that link should go in the follow-up email later.
Great. Thank you,
Thanks so
everyone.
much, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks.